If we have done nothing through this, we're making colleague institutions more ready, more aware of what to experience when they go through this, that I can answer questions. Because I have felt that a few programs I've been to, the people that lead disaster preparedness programs have never been in a disaster. Didn't really help me. Felt like I was more of more experience, and I was looking for the help. What am I missing? What am I forgetting? But what I kind of found is like, boy, you're forgetting everything when you go through it. Unless you live through it, it's hard to even fathom. So when people come back to the museum, they're not going to be going into the historic building because that is really being worked on now. But the large gallery in the back, which is the People's United Bank Gallery space, is really housing the entire emergency evacuation of the collection. So you're going to not see, like you normally go to a museum and the objects are in very, very elegant, positions and vignettes and interpreted a certain way. What you're going to see here is the mass of stuff the museum owns because it was formerly in the galleries and now this is just stored here for safekeeping. So I think people will be shocked just to see just the impact of how many things. Most people will ask where the mummy is because the mummy is actually human remains. There was a level of respect that we had to associate to it, so she had to go, and we worked with Yale, the Peabody at Yale, to actually house Paib during this transition time, and wonderfully they're doing an exhibition, so she's going to go on exhibition at Yale, and we're so proud. So every single tiny artifact had to be assessed and preserved and placed someplace, and this is the bulk of the collection that's being stored. Oh, this is the first time everything is in one area. I mean, very often, if people saw the very first Indiana Jones movie when they're wheeling the Ark to that big storage environment, that's actually kind of true. Many museums have huge storage environments, and the public never gets to see that. Some of them are arranged in boxes, and some are not. So people are actually, this is a museum storage. You're coming behind the scenes on this, and then you're going to take with you a sense of the magnitude of what actually a museum, has to do, is required to do, to make sure that these things, these objects, are here for the future. And someday, we're going to get to the point, if the exhibit is still open, we're going to start preparing things to bring them back into the gallery spaces in the historic building when it's completely restored. The trick is going to be how fast we could raise the funds. We've already decided we're looking for a full comprehensive restoration to be about $17 million, which would include, conservation work that we're doing now, as well as, redesign and reinstallation of the historic exhibitions in the Barnum building. And then because we're just starting the capital campaign fundraising now, because we do have a sense of this, we are going into the drawing phase, we'll be able to drill that number down more succinctly probably by next year. We'll really have conceptual designs and drawings that we could really, sink our teeth into. But right now we're moving into the early stages. It's probably safe to assume it takes years. I had to talk myself through that because you don't want it to, desperately don't want it to, but if I didn't kind of calm myself down, take a moment to go zen, I would have blown up, because it's hard. When you're a museum, it's about people and teaching and learning, and it's what I love to do, and you're being held back. And the truth is, it's not about me. It's about making sure the process is done right. So that's a hard lesson. That's another thing that's not in disaster plans. It's a hard lesson to make sure you're moving forward and doing the right thing when human nature is just a knee-jerk and try to get it done right away. That would have been harmful, certainly to the collection. It would have been harmful to the building, the public coming in. So we've made the right decisions. As hard as it is to accept that, it's been the right way to go. Oh, have learned, yes, the power of patience with everything, with dealing with insurance discussions to the massive attention that one object is going to require, because it's hard to just put yourself in the place, oh, I can just think about this when I've got a million other things I have to get to. So you just have to come to a center and say, okay, you know, it's fine. This is what has to happen now. So really to be present every single moment. You know, the power of being present and dealing with a situation in that exact moment and moving on to the next, because I've let that go a couple of times and things have gotten confused and you've missed things and you have to reel it back in so you're not making typos and you're not making silly mistakes or forgetting to make a phone call or missing a meeting or whatever it might be, because there's so much. Learning how to say no to certain things, just saying, I can't be everywhere. I'm so excited to have people come through. Last week, 2 weekends ago, the Barnum Festival had their Tom Thumb Lavinia Warren contest, and normally we always do it here, and it's a wonderful event. It's fun to collaborate with the festival and bring the kids in. We couldn't do it last year at all. It was impossible. But this year, because we're just about ready to open, we said, it'd be perfect, let's bring the kids back. So we had over 100 people back here contained in the galleries, and we were able to talk to them, and it was wonderful to be able to do that again. It felt good. It was bringing us back to a place of normal. This has been so completely off the radar as far as operations is concerned. Just completely. It will be nice. It will be refreshing. I think it will reinvigorate us. We open Thursday. It's very limited. It's Thursdays and Fridays, 11 to 3. There will be somebody in the gallery. You know, it's so people have questions, they'll be able to ask, or the staff is ordinarily here. We're not charging. We absolutely are accepting donations. We do need to continue to raise money. That alone has been its own art, to continue to raise money for a museum that's closed. You know, to ensure the fact that we're going to move on and be fiscally healthy as well. And we've actually managed to do so with grants through the generosity of the community. We had a great fun gala. The Webster Bank Arena and Ringling helped out with that, so it was very successful, so we were pleased. But constantly looking at the bottom line and making sure it's like we got to keep this act going. You know, I can't worry about, you know, bottoming out now. We've come this far. So you know, and dealing with the insurance company too. I'm sure a lot of people dealt with the Irina insurance issues. It's not just coming easily. So it's something that still needs to be worked on as we proceed. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.